What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of aMAYSing Metalworks, and this video going to be going over the process of what we do when a car comes to the shop. I'm going to show you guys how to prep the car for sandblasting. I'm going to show you some cut down tips, tricks, show you how I prep the car for it to go to blast. So this here is my son. I'm going to formally introduce him. I haven't introduced him yet, but this is my son. He came to work with me, so he's here to learn about building cars. So this is the area that you start in when you start building cars. This is the first part of it. So this is a 70 Roadrunner Convertible, and it is a 4-speed car. I'm going to go over everything in this video, so stay tuned. But first off, I want to start off by saying a little prayer. So I'm going to say a little prayer for you guys and us as well. Dear Lord, just be with us today as we make this video, Lord. I pray that nobody gets hurt and that everybody watching, that they remain safe in everything they do, Lord. And I just want to thank you for my subscribers. I want to thank you for my son. Thank you for my business. Thank you for the abilities, Lord, that you've given me to be able to do these cars and do this build, Lord. I pray that you be with each and every one of us, Lord. I pray that if there's someone out there that are in need of healing, strength, love, anything, Lord, I just pray that you be with them, and I pray that you just show them that you're still in the business of miracles, Lord. I just pray that you be with each and every one that's watching this video. I pray that if there's someone on here that does not know you, Lord, I pray that they come to know you, Lord. I pray that they either reach out to me or they reach out to somebody, Lord. I pray that they pick up the Bible today, Lord, and seek you and ask you into their heart, Lord. We need it in this world, Lord. I just pray that we have a good day, Lord, and I pray that this video glorifies you mainly, Lord. And I want to thank you for your son, Jesus. And it's in his name that we pray. Amen. So we're going to get started. We'll see y'all guys in a minute. Alright, so this first part is going over the tools that you'll need for cutting down the car. So probably won't use all these tools, but I'm going to show you some, and I'm going to tell you the main ones that I use when cutting down a car. So I'm over here at my box. You have these tools. So the main tool that you're going to use to cut down the car is going to be an air hammer like this. This one here, I think the longer that this is, the more power it has as far as like hitting power. So I have the quick connect in. It's actually cracked. It's been that way for a long time. I have a new one, just haven't put it on. So this is an older tip that has been ground down, and I will show you guys in the tips and tricks on how to grind that. We use a die grinder. Just the straight angle die grinder. We'll need the cutoff wheel, and we'll also need the grinding wheel. This is the 3/16 3-inch. All I use is 3-inch on these, especially on hot rod here. I know you guys that's been on the channel for a long time know hot rod. This one right here is pretty bad. Then I got a deburr tool. That's just a hole punch. That's a door skinning tool, air nozzle, right angle grinder, and a belt sander. These are Mac, but most of this stuff you can get at Harbor Freight, and it works just as good. I use this as just like a gasket scraper. Sometimes I use it to work on spot welds, and also my trusty body hammer that was given to me, and it's not no name brand, just some cheap thing. But I do a lot of stuff, and I actually ground this for certain things. I call this, if anybody has been with me for a long time, this is my Martha Stewart hammer. So this is Martha Stewart. My son's laughing. So that right there is basically all you'll need. I use the 36 grit and the 80, and I actually have some Scotch-Brite. So I'm trying to make sure that, well, actually, here's a Scotch-Brite one that I use, but we won't be using that on the cut down. So I'm trying to think if that's basically it, besides an air compressor. And also we use that little scraper, and we use a flat scraper like this and a torch. Just a propane torch. Anyone will work. I think my son might have done tore it up. There it goes. So, but anyways, that's the tools that you'll need. Now, we're going to go over the process of what to do with the car, like the car assessment on what's going to get cut down and what needs to be done with the car. So when the customer brings the car in, we do a assessment. We go over everything, what I feel like is good and what I feel like is bad, what might make it through blast, what might not make it through blast. So we're going to head on over to the car now, and I'm going to show you guys the assessment part of the car. All right, so we got the 70 Roadrunner Convertible here, and I basically went over this already with the customer, but I'm going to go over it with you guys and show you what I think it needs and what it don't need. So when I seen the video of this car or the pictures of it, I thought, well, this car is pretty bad. It looks pretty rough, but for this car and the ones that I have seen, this car is in pretty good shape. So we'll start up here at the front. Now, the frame rails seem to be okay. There's a couple spots there. This side over here looks really good. The inner fender looks good. Firewall looks good. The radiator support looks good all the way around. Lower radiator support, the sides. Now, if you're doing a B body, I'm sure most of the people on here watching are probably doing Camaros and stuff, so you don't have to worry about none of this anyways. But the technique of doing the cut down, if you want to go ahead and skip to that, you can. I'm going to put it in the description below. But anyways, when you're doing the B bodies and E bodies, you got the front metal to work with, and these radiator support pieces, you need to make sure that you have the correct one for your car. They make a smaller radiator, which these things are wider, and they don't make the aftermarket ones of that. So while I'm telling you guys this, I'm also telling my son this because this is his first time working with cars. So you have to pay attention to whether or not these are the large radiator or the small radiator. These two here are for a large radiator. The small radiator one, this one over here's out here. I think this one on this side is the same size, but they don't make those. And if they're in any kind of shape, you want to save them, especially if the customer is going back original and wants to have a small radiator. So pay attention to these here. So they make these for this one. We're not too much worried about it, but these are in really good shape. So we're going to try and keep them. This frame rail looks really good. Like I said, the firewall looks good. Now, this side over here, it's rotted. We're gonna replace this one because this is where the battery tray goes and it always eats it out. We're gonna wanna keep, if we do the frame rail, we're gonna wanna keep that Z-bar piece. That's for the 4-speed car. That's for the clutch pedal. You wanna save that piece. Now, when we build these cars or we cut them down, we save all the parts. All the parts go in a pile outside in their own pile. That way, if there's something we're missing, some kind of little bracket or something that we don't have, or we need to go back for reference, we can go out there to the pile and we can dig around and we can find that part and make sure that it does not go into the scrap metal bin. So, just letting you guys know that. The hinge pillars look good. It might blow through right here. If it does, I will probably patch it versus changing the pillar out because these pillars look really good. The rockers are okay. They might make it. They might be all right. The cowl side panels are good. The upper panel looks good. All in the window area looks good. This is one of the main things with a convertible. You want to make sure that these things are good. If you're taking in a car, if you're doing this as a business and you're taking in a car for a customer, you want to make sure that these have no holes and these things are in decent shape, buildable shape. I have had to hand make a lot of this stuff. This one here is super nice. It is like one of the nicest ones that I have seen. All on the inside, lower cowl. Now, the area you want to look for on the B bodies on the lower cowl part is these buckets right here. These inside pieces, they usually rot because leaves get in there and it rots all this out. And the only way to replace that is to replace the lower cowl. So these look pretty good. You can't get in there and fix it. If it is bad, you just have to replace the lower cowl. So removing this requires removing the upper cowl. So if you're going to do a lower cowl, you're automatically doing an upper cowl because the price of the upper cowl versus taking all this off and saving it, it's more labor and more time and more money for me to try and save this piece to put on a new lower than it is for me to put a new one in. I've got stuff hanging from my shirt, sticky stuff. So obviously it's going to get floors. So you'll need floors. We need to make sure that we note that it is a 4-speed car. It will get new wire covers on both sides. It will get the rear footwells. It will get the rear seat pan because it's rotted and I'm sure it's going to blow out more when it goes to blast. You want to make sure that these are good because they don't make them. So when we cut the quarter off, I'm sure down inside of there, you can see where all that stuff builds up. It's pretty thick in there. Acorns, leaves. We find tools down in there, money, everything. So both sides are pretty full. There's a master lock that's rotted. I don't know if it's a master lock or not, but it is a lock. So that right there is your rocker right there. The rocker continues on through the car on the inside of the quarter panel. So if you look out here and you see it's solid, you think that the rocker ends here, but the rocker don't. The rocker continues on through the car. There's a lead joint right here. This car is going to need a hinge pillar on this side. These cars had big, heavy doors, and they tend to break this area where the latch goes. So this being a convertible, we want to make sure that we keep this piece. So we're going to cut this piece out and put it into the new car. I could cut this out of the new one and drill the new holes, but it wouldn't have these little recesses. Or I could make me a tool to make those recessed areas. I like to keep it original, so we will end up probably cutting these out and putting these into the new car. So that's a fab part too, that you want to add, because it's going to take time to cut and add that in either way. You want to make sure that these cowl tops are good. As you can see, that cowl top is awesome. I have not seen none in this good a shape on either side. They are really, really good. You want to make sure that all this area right here, this is a tray, this is where the rain goes. So when the rain runs down the vinyl top and goes down in here, or the canvas top, whatever, the rain runs around that, and then it goes down and goes into the door, and then it comes out of your little ports and stuff for underneath on the rocker. There's a little area I'll show you guys where the water is supposed to drain out, but as you can see, with them being full, it's hard for it to drain. They don't make the deck filler for this car. They don't make the quarter panels. So we're going to have to mod a set of quarter panels like that, which that's not a Roadrunner quarter panel, but it is similar. It will get modded when we get the quarter panels in for this car. You want to make sure that you have the tail light extensions. That way, whenever you go to put the quarter on and we go to weld it, you want to make sure that all this is pretty much lined up as close as it can, so that the customer or the body man doesn't have a hard time making or filling all this area with body filler. So I like the customers to remove these, because I don't want to be responsible for breaking them. As you can see, this one here is broke. The customer is aware. He did get both of them off though. He brought me the lock pieces for the doors, because I like to put the doors on and get them fitted up, shutting and opening. He wants new doors, so we're going with new doors. He has his trunk lock support. He has his trunk that he is going to be using the deck lid over there. This car is going to get a tail panel. It's crushed here, and it's also rotted out in here, and when it goes to blast, it's going to go away. It's going to get the rear cross member. It's going to get the rear shock tower piece. We can go up with it. We're going to get this car in there, and I'll go into the bottom side of it. All right, now that we have the car in the air, we can look underneath and see how good it is. Like I said, that frame rail looks pretty good. The cross member looks decent. But the thing with these is they tend to rot from the inside, because the inside is where the trash lays through these holes, lays in there, and then the water and stuff builds up in them, and then they rot. And when you look at this side, it looks like it's nice and smooth, looks good, but then when you blast it, you come to find out that the inside is the part that's been eaten through, and it'll blast through. So I have all these on the customer's quote, but if they make it, they will be used. This side over here, it's kind of iffy. There's a little spot right here. I'm not sure what's going on there. And then you can see some spot right in there. The customer said that if it's something that I think's iffy, then replace it. So chances are we're going to do this inner fender, so we might do this frame rail as well. I'm going to send it to blast and see what it looks like when it comes back, but I'm pretty sure that part is probably going to go, which will require inner fender, the shock tower and the frame rail, and also frame rail bracket. So floor, seat pan brackets, they might make it. This right here is actually the floor itself, because it comes in and it goes up and welds right there, so that might be able to come off on the inner rocker, might be able to save them. Floor pan seat brackets look okay. They might make it, they'll stay on. This car will be getting torque boxes and frame connectors, so we're not really worried about it, but I definitely know that these frame rails back here are gone, because you can see it. It's shot. It's pretty bad. Somebody did some welding on something there. This frame rail over here is, ledge is gone. We're gonna replace them both. This car will get like the level 3, so it'll get some pockets that will get cut in right here for the 4-link. He also wants to mini tub it, which is going to require me cutting the cap and moving it inboard like 3 inches. So this will be the first one that I've ever done that way. It's going to get trunk drop-offs, all the rear leaf spring hangers. It's going to get inner outer wheel houses. It won't get the caps. So that's pretty much the assessment of it. It's going to get gas tank straps, extensions, and all that. You know the parts. This one here has a dual exhaust bracket. This is added in at the factory, but it's near like the end of the build, so they just drill it out and pop this bracket in. This one will be removed, and it will go in the box with the customer's parts, with his part number on it. So that right there pretty much concludes what goes on with the assessment. Now we're going to get into the working part of it. All right, before the car goes to blast, I like to get all the rubberized coating off of the parts that I'm saving. That way that the sandblaster don't have a hard time trying to blast through the rubberized undercoating. So as you can see here, my son has already removed the undercoating off of all the components of the front end. The inner wheel house, the shock tower support, the firewall to inner fender braces, firewall. So he's back here, and I'll go back there and show you guys the process of that. He started on this, but I told him we wasn't keeping it, so he stopped, but you can see how thick it is. Now, at the sandblaster, they're gonna have time sitting there trying to do that. Time is money, and I would rather get it off here where I can control the time instead of sending it to sandblast where they control the time. So we get this stuff removed. It's all off here, splash shields, it's removed. I get him to remove all of it off of around the windows, all in the seam sealer pieces in the corners. He hasn't got in there yet, but let's see if I can zoom in. Like all that rubber over there in that, on there, it'll get removed. All that rubber up around that is gonna get removed. Any rubber on parts that you are going to keep, you need to remove the rubber. That way it makes a cleaner, nicer job for the customer when they get their car back. It looks nicer, looks more professional. So you want to get all that stuff off and make the car look good. You know, put pride in it. So my son has got the rubber off of here. I had him remove a little bit down, even though these wheel houses are gone. But I needed to be able to get in here to see all my spot welds so that I can save these caps. So I'm gonna have to remove this very carefully and save these caps. So he's got all that removed. We're not worried about any of the frame rail stuff. And I'm gonna go around here and show you guys how it's done. So what he's doing is he's heating it with a torch, and he has a little scraper, and it just scrapes off. You can see how easy it comes off. It makes it smoky in here, but he's getting to be a professional at it. So that's all it takes, is just a little heat. And I also have him put cardboard down because I don't want this stuff on my new floor. And when it falls off and it's hot rubber, it's going to stick to my floor. So I have him keep cardboard underneath it. That way we can sweep it up. And then I also tell him to try not to walk in it and then walk around, because it sticks to the bottom of your shoe and then it comes off on the floor. So it's down there. So that's the part of getting rid of all the rubberized coating. I'm trying to see if there's any more. He'll remove the rubber in the corners over there. All that rubber will come out so that it makes a nice clean job for, and when the car comes back from blast, all that area will be treated with the direct to metal primer, epoxy coat or whatever. So we're going to continue on with it, the build. I'm trying to see what we got. I'm going to go over next the cut down areas and where we're cutting down. So for that part, I didn't mention it on the tools part, but you need like a big Sharpie, unless you're like me and you know what you're doing and you know what parts are going to be cut. So we're going to head over there now and start doing the cut down. Now that he has all the rubber off of it that needs to be gotten off, all around the corners, all in here, all up inside of there, in the wheelhouses, and off the deck filler back here, it's time to go over what we are going to be cutting and what we are going to be saving. So one thing you want to save is the front bar on any B body, E body. This is where the VIN number is. The VIN number is on the back side right here. I'm not going to show you because it's a customer's car, but there's the VIN number there. He kept his trim tag. You want to save that just in case if it's still on there. You want to save it. And then also they usually have the VIN number in the back trunk gutter. There is a number on this one. It's right in here, and there's also a number on this side right in there. I have cleaned it off, so I'm going to save these trunk gutters just because they don't make the deck filler, and this is pretty bad, so I'm going to have to do some metal work here. I'll take a stock regular coupe car, hardtop, whatever you want to call it, car, and I will make this deck filler out of it and use it. So I'm going to leave this, the trunk gutter set, I'm going to leave them in there to go to blast, but I am going to remove the quarter panels. You can see somebody's already did some work here. Looks like they've pop riveted. There's some fiberglass Bondo stuff. So I'm going to go over what we're going to do, and for that part, you need a big Sharpie unless you know what you're doing. So we want to make sure that we take these out and keep this piece for the trunk, because I have been carrying it to sandblast and these come out and you lose that piece and you can't find that piece. A lot of times we take these arms off because if they fall off in transit, you can't find them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over where this thing's going to get cut and get saved. So from on the quarter panel, I typically cut it in way up here along this edge. That way I can, it's hidden so that if you look inside the car or look in the trunk area, you won't be able to look in here and see a cut line in here of where the quarter was cut in to be able to tell if it had quarters put on or not. So I'm going to take a coupe, hard top, whatever top, and I'm going to end up cutting it in right along in here, all the way around. So I want to leave myself enough room to make sure that I do it. A lot of people cut them in right here. I don't know why, but that's where I'm going to mark it, and that's where I'm going to cut this quarter off at. That way I can have plenty of space to work with, so I can determine where I'm going to do it at. So I'm going to come in about 2 inches or so, and I'm going to just cut this all the way down here, and I'll just go ahead and I'm going to go ahead all the way to the back and leave the whole piece on there. All the way to the back for right now. I'm going to leave this whole piece, and I'm going to remove this whole lower section of the quarter panel. You also don't want to damage any spot like this. So when the customer comes to pick up his car, he'll be able to take what's left of this quarter panel home to be able to mark his quarter panel to drill and put emblems. So your Roadrunner emblem is right here. So we want to make sure that we don't damage none of this area around. So you can basically use this to line up on the aftermarket quarter panel. I'm not sure if it has the holes drilled in it or not, but he'll be able to lay this on top, be able to drill those 2 holes for that, and then he'll be able to line up and drill the holes for this. So, you know, we want to basically save this piece, so we'll end up, you know, cutting it down through there, and then we'll just cut it around the wheelhouse here, down and over, and it'll come off the front. So we'll save that section for him. That way he can carry it home and use this as a template. We're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to cut this piece off all the way down to the end, and then we'll end up cutting it off the front here, and we'll cut this piece out on around and up, so that he'll have this for this side. We're going to peel it all off there. We'll end up cleaning out the lead in this area on the rocker. It's going to get the pillars, but we just want to open this area up for sandblast. We're going to come in to the inside here, and where the torsion bar cross member is, we can see it over here. We're going to open this up all the way across so that he can blast down inside of that rail. So basically we're going to open this area up, and then we're going to open up the area where the frame rail is, where the frame rail comes in. We're going to open that area up so that he can blast the top of the frame rail. Do the same thing on that side. Now you can basically see it. Frame rail comes back to here, and then this is going to get opened up so that he can blast down inside of there, and we can clean all that out. So we're going to get that. We'll get that opened up. We ain't going to worry about detaching it from the firewall so much. We might cut it off right in here so that we can clean that off, and it leaves a spot that he don't have to worry about taping off. He can just sandblast, paint over it, and then when we peel it off, it'll leave a nice clean area for us to grind and clean up. We're going to end up cutting all the floor off all the way back. We're going to remove the top of the floor, and then we're not going to worry about the back, because the back is getting frame rails, so we're not going to open all that up to clean those. But if you were going to keep the frame rails, you'd want to open up this area on both sides where the frame rail is. You'd want to open that area up so that you can blast down inside of it all the way to the back of the car. Let's see. We're going to clean off all this off of the rocker. That way he can blast the rocker. We're going to clean off the area above the seat mounts here on both sides. We're going to clean all that stuff off, and we'll get it cleaned off pretty much We're not going to fool with any of this area just yet. I'm trying to think what else we're going to get. We're going to cut the back end of the car off. So where I have this piece coming in, I might end up cutting it. I'm not. I'm going to leave it, and then I'll end up removing the center section of this trunk floor. That way he can get in there and blast the underside of all this without having a problem. We're going to get this trunk latch off and get it in the box with all his parts, and we'll go from there. So that's pretty much it. We'll save this tail panel piece so he can use this as a template as well. We're not going to damage any of it, and we'll get there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need to do to get started with removing. I think that's about it. So now we're going to move on to the air hammer, and I'm going to show you guys how to use it while also showing my son how to use it. Thing we're going to use for cut down, we're going to use the air hammer, and we're going to use the die grinder. So I'm going to go over the air hammer right now and the bit that I use. So this is the bit I use. I know that don't look like it, but that's it. That's it. But just it's ground down from use, and I'll use it all the way till it's down to hardly nothing. But these are it, and this is the part number if you're curious. Flat chisel, shank, round, .401, and it's A046073, and that's what I use. So I keep some of these, this one here, but this is the one, and I don't never use it with this tip on it. I always grind my own, and this one here somebody else has ground, and they have pretty much kind of messed it up. I don't know who did it, but I can't get it out of there. Let's see, I'll dump it. So I'm going to go over to the grinder, and I'm going to show you guys how I grind this. You can actually see it's kind of radiused. I like the radius the other direction. I don't know what happened. And I'm gonna grind this new one. So I'm gonna hand the camera over to my son, and hopefully he can figure out how to record this. So got the bits, don't need the air hammer, got safety glasses, and got some gloves. So I'm gonna go over here to the grinder, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grind it against the rock, and I'm gonna hold it in that one position, and I'm just gonna try and keep it level. You can see it's kind of curved, and then the angle of it, and you can see it's kind of ground. So I'm gonna let this pull up, but I try to stand off to the side of it. That way, if it blows up, it don't hit me. So you wanna make sure it's running, and I just go against it. And it's starting to make that curve in it, but you can see how the high spot is. So I don't want to grind on this too much, so I'm going to swap back and forth, because I don't want this to get too hot, because it takes the temper out of it and the hardness if you get it real super hot. And I like to keep it on the same angle every time. So you can see it start turning. I'm gonna leave that one, and I'm gonna go to this one, and I'm gonna do the same thing, but this one won't take as long because this one is new. But I basically want to make that radius right there. I want to make that radius come into this flat spot. Like sometimes I'll grind it on the side, and you're not supposed to make this edge flat, and then I'll cut my radius. starting to get it, but I'm gonna go back to the other one. It'll take a while before that gets cleaned up, but I'm pretty much where I need to be. Listen, I'm gonna start with this one, and this is just how to grind a new one. I'm not gonna waste this one right now, but I'm gonna get this one by my air. I'm not gonna remove that inner fender because I don't want this thing flopping around on the way to the sandblast. We are going to remove these bolts, so I'm just saying it. And these bolts up front, they're going to get taken out. Anything that might fall off. So, trying to see if I can find a spot to start to show you guys how to work this thing. I'll start right here and peel up some of this area that needs to come out. I could go over there, but I can see my spot welds there, so I know in the center it's going to be open. I'm just going to dive in. You don't have to like hold this thing wide open when you're going. You don't just hold it just keep a little light pressure on it. You don't want to, and if you keep your hand on it, keep it pulled back into the machine, because that's what causes it to hammer. If it's out here, it don't hammer. It's got to be against it. So I just keep a light pressure back, and then go this way. So and you see how it just opened it up. Now swap on the side. And you want to be aware what's on the back side. So right in here is where the torsion bar goes, and I'll open it up and show you. So you don't want to like plunge deep down in it and mess up what's behind it. You want to pay attention to what's behind everything that you're cutting. Like when I go to cut this quarter off in a minute, I'll show you guys where you need to pay attention and make sure you don't hit some of this stuff. I'm going to go on with this. So you see that? If you plunge deep, you'll end up hitting that. So I didn't want to hit it, so just walk across it and make sure you wear gloves. Stuff's sharp and it'll get you. So I've opened up the frame rail. I'm gonna peel some off of the frame rail and show you guys how to do that. It's gonna get these wire hole covers, so we're not really worried about them. You can just peel them. All you gotta do is get up under it and then see how I peeled that and I didn't damage the part underneath it. I'm going on each side of the spot weld. So that's the spot weld right there. I'm kicking it at an angle that way around, and then I kick it at an angle that way to go around the other side. So it peels it right off. So I'm kicking it, and then I kick it that way for the and it comes off. And once you find the spot weld, you see it start coming up, I kick it, and then I go around it, and then kick it, and go around it. We could have blew it out, but so that's all. I wasn't worried about saving this. I just wanted to show you guys how to do it. The floor's coming out from the rocker, so it's not really a big deal as to whether or not I did that good or not. But I just wanted to just demonstrate how to remove that without you see how quick that was? All of it's off, and I didn't damage it. Now all I gotta do is come back and just grind with the grinder. If I was saving this part, clean them little spots up, and then when it goes to blast and comes back, I can re-blast or weld those back on. Now I'm gonna start getting the floor off. I'm gonna demonstrate that. I'm gonna cut it up to here, and then I'm gonna remove this section and I'm gonna remove it off that bar. So I'm gonna go. Like I say, you want to make sure that there's nothing behind anything when you go to cutting it out, which I know there ain't nothing, so I'm just gonna go. And when you get rusted spots, it's gonna just pop both. Hold this thing wide open, it's hard to control. So there's the bar back behind it. I'm gonna cut right here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna cut on the other side. I'm doing that is because it's going to be hard for me to get up in there and get the camera in to be able to see what I'm doing. So hose keeps getting stuck, but and there's the rocker behind that, so I don't want to damage it. Now when you try to remove something when it's got a lot of curves in it, it's hard to bend. So if you cut both sides of it, then you're able to get up under it and roll it up. See if I can get under it. Trying to. Well, let's see. I'm gonna go under it right here. So I opened up me a spot to get under it. And I'm just going to work around this spot. It's a whole lot easier to get the thing up in the air and just work work around each one. If I had it in the air, I could get under and push up on it. But I'm trying to keep it where you guys can see. And you don't want to push real hard on it, because if it slips, that sends your hand into this. You can see how it just, and that's clean. So now when it goes to blast, he'll be able to blast it. When it comes back, I'll clean those little spots up with the grinder, and it'll get cleaned up, and it'll get weld through primer on it, and it'll be ready to weld the floor to. But you see all this stuff? That spot was not open. Like it was good there. So how did acorns and stuff get down in here? The squirrels and stuff, they find a way. And now all that stuff will be got out of there, and the inside of those rockers, or the inside of this cross member, torsion bar cross member, will get treated, and it won't rust, because the factory didn't treat the inside of it. It was just bare metal, and that's why it rusted in there. So I'm going to get this floor on off right here and show you guys this. So. And like I said, it's hard to get the, it's hard to peel this, because it don't want to roll, because you have this edge here. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut this edge off. That way it leaves me a flat strip, because the flat strip will peel and roll easier. And the more you use one of these, the easier you get. This is a, I think this is a Chicago pneumatic. I don't know what model it is. I thought it had it on here. Yes, this is the GP714 Chicago pneumatic. This is the best one that I've ever used. So we can see I got my pieces off. I'm gonna cut right here. And then I'm gonna get this one. So rusty around this footwell that it'll just makes it easier to get this stuff out your way. And now you're going to just peel all this off. try and bend this up by hand, just so I ain't gotta. So that's good. Now he'll be able to blast all this area, blast them. We can clean them up. If they're good when they come back, we'll remove that. We're going to remove this stuff off of this wall, and we'll continue on around doing the same thing, just opening up all of the frame rails and stuff. I'm going to go out here to this quarter panel and show you guys what I do on the quarter panel. So, you might have to come on this side. So I got my line up here. I'm gonna cut this with the die grinder. That way I can get a nice clean edge here. But on this, you want to make sure that if you, I'm taking the camera from him for a minute. If you go cutting something, the quarter panel or something, you want to get on the back side. I can't really see, but you want to get onto the back side of it, and you want to look and make sure. Let me wipe this screen. You want to look and see what's on the back, and you can see that lip folds over, so you don't want to cut that lip. So you want to come back a little bit. So that means on the outside, this piece, the fold on this piece comes out and then folds over a little bit. So it's about in there. So when you cut, you won't want to cut dead on this. You want to cut away from it. So I'd start out here, and that way you can work your way in and find it, and then you'll be able to cut all the way down that edge and ride it. I'm going to hand the camera back to Trey, and we're going to cut in, and we'll see what we got. I'm going to go up with it. So I'm going to start out here a good ways away, and I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go and try and ride up it. Stop up there. I'm going to go down. I'm starting to ride over to it, and I felt it. I felt it, and I knew that I was hitting something because it was stalling. Usually when you get down in the area down here, it'll go fast. It'll pop through because this is real thin and it's rusty. And you're going to open it up, and you'll have stuff falling everywhere. Now that I have that pretty much out of the way, I can see right here where I went in. Now I'm trying to get behind it. Let me see if I can get a piece cut it. I'm not too much worried about this piece because this piece ain't no good, but I'm just trying to demonstrate what you need to do. So now I'm So you can see I'm just peeling it off of it, all the way down it. That just helps you to be able to get to where you need to get to. We're not worried about these wheelhouses. We're not worried about any of this. Not worried about these because they're going to get replaced. I just wanted to demonstrate how to pull it off of there without damaging up this part too much. And if I took it up, it'd be a whole lot easier. But see how it just and I'm just working it around. And you just do that all the way around and start peeling that stuff off. Okay, I'm gonna get the cutoff wheel and do the. We'll go back here to the back because I need to get this tail panel piece removed. Usually I cut the whole back end of the car off. I usually take and cut down the middle of the floor, and I cut across this all the way and cut it so if the customer wants to hang the tail panel on the wall, they can. I don't know what, I'm just trying to save it because I'm trying to save these trunk gutters and I want to leave them hanging on here when the car goes to blast. I'm going to get my son to get in here and cut up the hole in the floor so that Sandy John can get in there and blast the inside of it, and then down through here. I'm not really sure what I want to do yet, if I want to cut it off or not. But I need this area open right here so that he can blast in there. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut in right here. Not sure. Trying to figure out how I want to do it, because I want to leave the trunk gutters on there right now, and I don't want them to just be hanging back here. So I'm probably just going to I'm gonna just cut it with a die grinder right here and cut it down and just open up this area and leave that piece like it is. I'm gonna get my cutter and get on it. You can stop it. Alright, so I got the grinder and I'm gonna cut this piece off. I just want to make it pretty much, I mean, you could put a piece of tape down through there and cut along the tape if you want, but I'm just going to use this pinstripe line here, and I'm going to cut that pinstripe line. And I don't want to aim this thing at my face. I want to keep it angled away. So I started at this line just in case I decide to cut the tail panel off and send it with the customer. I'm at a good spot that I can. I might come up here and go down on the opposite side of the marker light. That way the customer will have the tail panel with the lights and this, and they can hang it on the wall if they want. So I might step in and cut straight up right here from the bottom, and that way they can keep it. I'll flip around here. through the... And I'm not forcing this thing. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it. If you put a lot of pressure on it, it will eat these bits up, or the cutter. It will eat them up, and it'll cost you a lot of money. You can go down through here if you wanted to with the air chisel and trim it. I can pretty good, but I'm doing it this way because the customer's gonna need this for templates for those pieces, and I just wanted to demonstrate it. So I'm gonna continue on. Now I hope my son's paying attention because he's going to do the other side. Cut that. I would suggest wearing a mask when you do this. I'm filming, can't really put one on and talk, but anyways, I'm gonna end up going up with the lift, and I'm gonna cut around this, and we'll get this quarter panel off, and we'll get to see what's in here. All right, we got it in the air, and it's pretty much loose from the wheelhouse. Right here. Now if you were saving the wheelhouse, you don't want to cut too deep and hit the wheelhouse. You just want to stay on that top layer. And usually the way wheelhouses are, they fold out and then they come around and then they dip back in. So about an inch or so in, there's usually a void spot because of the outside of the wheelhouse is further away. I could air chisel all this thing off, but I don't want to because like I say, I'm trying to make this thing nice so that the customer ain't got to do a lot of work to it. It ain't gonna have a bunch of jagged edges on it when he comes to pick up the car. It won't have jagged edges and end up cutting him or whatever. So I like to keep it a nice clean spot. I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go ahead and cut that. I'm not worried about so much this far back because I'm going to cut it off right here. We don't need the rest of this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and finish cutting this piece off. And I can tell where the piece is behind. Pretty much off there. You can see there where they got fiberglass and a piece of sheet metal in there, pop rivets, all kind of stuff. I can cut this piece off. Let me see, it might pop off, who knows. So, there we go. But you can see all this stuff that's down inside of here. Look what they've got. Who knows what that is? Something in there to make a filler for bindo. We got spark plugs. There ain't no telling what you'll find in here. Might find some old coins, emblems, stuff like that. So got that pretty much removed. Leave that thing on there. I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna finish cutting around this and get this out of the way. All the way down and then across. But you see what I mean about how if you come about an inch in, it starts rolling away. Most wheelhouses are that way, and that's how it was. Now, if I'd have started cutting way down here, I'd have hit the wheelhouse if I was saving this wheelhouse, but I'm not saving it. So trying to figure out which way I want to go. I usually don't like throwing it in the air. I like to throw it towards the floor. And now. You got to remember the rocker's back there, so you don't want to go deep. So it looks like we have some more fiberglass and body work. So now the customer has this piece. He can get it on there, get his holes lined up, and we can see what's in there. And the rocker looks good. Usually this is rotted out because it's usually full of leaves and stuff. So now when Sandy John gets the car, he can blast it and clean all this area up and treat it all, and it'll be good. This is the spot where I was talking about when the water runs down that trough. It runs out right here and runs down in here, goes in this hole, and it comes out the inside of the rockers. It can run down in here and run out as well because there's little spots right here. You can see it. That's where water drains out. And there's actually one right here on this pad. You want to make sure those things stay clean on your car. There's another one up there, a couple of them up there. Keep them things cleaned out. That way your car don't rust. That's pretty much what you got to do with it. Hopefully my son's ain't got his fingers all in the camera. But I'm going to turn it over to him, and I'm going to let him do the other side and get it all cleaned up. From looking under here, I can see there's some holes. I can see some light through. You can see some patchwork right here where they done stuck something up in there and pop riveted it on the top side. Pop riveted it in there to be able to have a backing for filler. But now Sandy John can blast all in there. He'll be able to blast underneath the thing. I'm gonna turn it over to him, and I'm gonna let him jump on the other side and try his hand at the cutter and the air hammer. So anyways, we'll go over there and see what he's gonna do. He's already cut down and around. He's cut up here. Now he's working on this. His first time, so he's learning. Alright, so he's got this back piece off, and he's got to get that piece off. What is that? What? Like I say, you never know what you'll find behind them. Look at there. That's a piece of wood that Noah used when he built the ark, right there. If y'all don't know Noah and the ark, you should look it up. Pretty good story. Yeah. Yep, they always said these things were boats. Yeah. So, yeah, look, there's some more stuff. There ain't no telling what you'll find. Oh, I thought that was a valve stem. But anyways, he's got to finish cutting through this fiberglass and get that piece off. Yep, got more trash in there. Look at all this stuff. Some washers, pieces, plugs, junk, glass. Yep, but you can see the back side of that where it's ate up, where they did a repair. So we're gonna get new ones. But now we got it all opened up where he can blast in it. We'll get these seams right here, the lead out of them with the torch. But we're gonna get it up on the trailer first before we get to that seam and knock this bottom off. That way we can get this arm out of the way. I'm gonna get him to go ahead and get in here and start cleaning out the inside. We might go ahead and put it on the trailer to do that. I'm gonna get him to cut out the trunk area with the air hammer so that Sandy John can get in there and blast all that area. So we're gonna go ahead and get that part cut out. I think this thing's gonna end up, that's the quarter panel. That's rotted, so the trunk gutters might still be good. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I'm gonna leave them, and I might end up, yeah, there's some spots in there that's got to get patched, but we'll get all this stuff. You can see how much Bondo they got. This whole, like that whole, that's some of the trim molded in with the Bondo. Well, we'll get that piece cut off. These caps look great though. And we're going to get that trunk floor cut out. So this is why I say, if you want patchwork, go to a body shop and let them do patchwork. If you come here, I'm going to replace the quarter panel, or I'm going to replace what's rusted, unless it's just a little bitty spot. Now, trunk floor, it's pretty bad. They could have replaced it. Instead, this right here, I'm not even sure yet, but it looks like this is some roofing. This actually looks like tin roof. I'm not 100% sure yet, but it just looks like a couple pieces of tin from a tin roof. They pop riveted it all the way around. Didn't even like pop rivet it good, but I've knocked some of the rivets off, and I'm trying to pull it out right now and get it out. That's what I say. If you want your car to be patched and stuff, carry it to a body shop, because that's what body shops do. They do patching. We do it right, or we don't do it at all. If you don't want to do it the right way, don't bring it here. All right, so I got them out, and it's either, oh, I know what it is. It's duct work. So it's actually a piece of duct work that they undid and flattened it out and used it for patching. I mean, they did a good job. They cut a hole right here for the spare tire mount to stick through. I mean, look at all this stuff. Look, fiberglass piled in there. We got nest, and that's what I mean. How all this stuff sits in these frame rails, and then it rots from the inside. We got it out. We're gonna finish knocking off the rest of this, because this is actually another patch right here of like a floor pan that they cut out. I don't know. They got it laid in here, and then it's patched. So on top of the old floor, they put in a patch from another floor, and then come back and patched again and put a piece over each side. I can't believe the caps and stuff are as good as they are on this car. In those inner wheelhouses, with it being as bad as it was. So I do know that the owner of this car did say that he had ammonium nitrate, like fertilizer or something, sitting in the back. So I can imagine why it's rotted again. But anyways, I'm gonna finish cutting out this. So how about this? Got the trunk floor cut out, but look at there. We got the gas tank straps, gas tank strap, gas tank straps, and a gas tank strap. So they cut a floor out of another car and put it in this car, but didn't even remove the gas tank straps, just lapped them over the top of the other gas tank straps. So that's what you get when you go to a body shop. Here you go. So pretty much got it opened up. I just wanted to get this open so that Sandy John could get in here and blast. I'm gonna cut that piece off right there, and we're gonna go ahead and roll the trailer in and get it on the trailer. We got a mess, and all the seat pan brackets are cleaned off. Frame rails are cleaned off so that he can blast down inside them. All the torque boxes, both sides, they're full of stuff. Got to get all that out. We've got these opened up so we can spray the leaf spring hangers, even though it's probably going to get frame rails on the rear. We went ahead and opened up there, but we need to be able to get in there and blast that stuff on that side. And we also, like I say, we just opened up the back here so that Sandy John could get in here and get on it. We're going to get it cleaned up under here, and we're going to get the jig, the trailer for hauling it to the sandblast. So you guys will get to see my homemade trailer that I haul these on, and I'll show you a little trick that I made the sandblast guy's job a little bit easier. So we're gonna get this thing cleaned up under it. Gonna take all the metal and put it outside in a pile by itself, so that if we're missing something, we can go out there and look through the stuff. All the dust and rust is gonna go in the trash, and we'll get the trailer in here and get this thing on the trailer, and I'll show you guys that here in a minute. We got it completed and cut down, as good as it's gonna get for blast. And this is my trailer that it goes to blast on that I built. I have another one that I put up at the top of the hill. That's it. So this is my custom blast trailer, and this one's specially for B bodies and E bodies. So they're so big, and a lot of times they got a lot of stuff underneath to blast. So I have it where I got Trey over here. He just finished cleaning up. We're wrapping it up for the day, and you can roll it up. That way he can blast underneath pretty good, and then he can roll it the other way. And blast in here. He'll be able to stand up in here and blast without having to climb over in there. He can blast all this area the same. And I have this lock right here that flips up, and when the trailer comes down, this piece just goes up and the bolt goes in there and it locks it on the trailer. So in the morning, I will lock it down, and I also throw a strap on it just in case. And this is how it will go to blast on this trailer. That wraps up this episode of the 70 Roadrunner Convertible cut down. Don't know if there's anything I missed. We did get this area here cut out, and there's some nest in there, but we're going to take it outside and blow all that out before it goes. We peeled the quarter off, and the rocker looks pretty decent underneath. So the rockers might be saved on this car. We undid the lead seam right here. There's a little bit right there, but that's where the lead seam is. I'll patch all that if it ends up getting cut. In the morning, I'm gonna go ahead and finish knocking off this little bit right here so that Sandy John don't get cut by it. But other than that, it's pretty much ready to go. That just wraps up the cut down part on the 70 Roadrunner Convertible. And we'll see you guys on the next part when it comes back from blast. We'll do a video on the finishing up the cut down, getting rid of some of the stuff, and show you the process of that. So anyways, God bless you all. Love you. Thank you to my son for helping. He did awesome today for his first car. And I think he's digging this YouTube thing, because every time I fire up the camera, he's over here in the way. But anyways, I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next episode of the 70 Roadrunner Convertible. Until then, God bless you all, and I'll see you on the next one.